Hello viewers, it's important to remember that young Sheldon didn't end organically. Its conclusion was dictated by the continuity established in the Big Bang Theory, particularly surrounding major life events such as George Sr.'s death and Sheldon's departure for Caltech. If not for the need to preserve that canon, the series could easily have continued. After all, it was still raking in enormous ratings for CBS and remained one of the network's strongest performers. Chuck Lorre and his creative team simply didn't want to risk further disrupting the established timeline by extending the story past its canonical boundaries. Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, however, doesn't face that same constraint. The spin-off takes place roughly 20 years before Georgie's reappearance in the Big Bang Theory, at which point he and Mandy are no longer married. That distant gap gives the writers a long runway to explore the twists and turns of Georgie and Mandy's relationship without contradicting anything previously established in the franchise. As long as the show continues to grow its audience and maintain strong ratings, CBS can renew it for multiple seasons without worrying about continuity issues. Even so, the show faces challenges beyond timeline restrictions. From the beginning, Georgie and Mandy's relationship has raised eyebrows, especially due to the controversial age gap between them when their romance began. While the Big Bang Theory and young Sheldon both avoided delving too deeply into the legal and ethical complexities of that situation, Georgie and Mandy's first marriage has made a more direct effort to address those complications. However, the biggest problem in their dynamic isn't the age difference itself, it's the imbalance in the way their motivations are portrayed. Throughout their relationship, Mandy frequently places her own dreams, ambitions, and personal comfort above the needs of the family. Georgie, in contrast, consistently prioritizes stability, responsibility, and the well-being of their daughter, Cece. That mismatch becomes even more glaring in the Season 1 finale. The episode titled Guilt Boots brings Mandy's past back into the picture by introducing Scott, her former husband. Viewers learn that Mandy and Scott had previously worked together in San Antonio and have now crossed paths once again in Medford. Scott's re-entry into her life coincides with a promotion at the news station, a promotion she seems excited about, but also one that she chooses to keep secret from Georgie. This secrecy is concerning not only because of their romantic history, but also because Scott's involvement directly benefits Mandy's career path. Her reluctance to tell Georgie is understandable. Anyone would feel awkward discussing something like that with a spouse, but the problem lies in how she rationalizes her choice. With Audrey's encouragement, Mandy convinces herself that she hasn't crossed any lines and that withholding the information was harmless. When she eventually confesses to Georgie, she does so defensively, reiterating that she will not jeopardize her professional dreams just because he feels uneasy. What makes matters worse is her attempt to equate her situation with Georgie's decision to purchase McAllister tires. The comparison doesn't hold up. Georgie's business venture represents a sacrifice he makes for the sake of their family's long-term financial stability. Mandy's secrecy, on the other hand, stems from a desire to protect her individual career progression, even if that means creating emotional distance from her husband. While ambition is not a flaw in itself, the show has leaned too heavily into the narrative of Mandy proving herself professionally without giving viewers a deeper understanding of the emotional urgency behind her drive. Her motivations often come across as shallow or self-serving because the writing hasn't adequately explored why success matters to her on a personal level. This isn't a failure on Emily Osment's part. She plays Mandy with sincerity and emotional complexity. The issue lies in the way the character has been scripted. Mandy's ambition is repeatedly framed as a desperate need to make something of herself, but the reasons for this desperation remain vague. What past experiences shaped her insecurities? What emotional void is she trying to fill by achieving professional recognition? Season 2 could greatly benefit from giving viewers more insight into her internal world. Georgie, meanwhile, is portrayed as almost unwaveringly supportive, sometimes to the detriment of his own growth. He is understanding, patient, hardworking, and deeply committed to their family. But if the show continues painting him as the endlessly selfless partner while Mandy consistently prioritizes her own goals, their dynamic risks becoming repetitive and unbalanced. To keep audiences invested, the writers need to introduce new layers into both characters, allowing their flaws and strengths to surface in more nuanced ways. As Georgie and Mandy's first marriage moves forward, developing these complexities will be essential. The spin-off has enormous potential precisely because it is not boxed in by rigid canon. It can explore how relationships evolve, how young parents navigate stress, how ambition and obligation collide, and how family ties shape adult identity. But to make the most of that freedom, The show must avoid turning Georgie into a perfect martyr or Mandy into a self-absorbed antagonist. They need to grow, and grow together, if the audience is to remain emotionally invested in their journey. Ultimately, Season 2 begins with the promise of new beginnings, new conflicts, new growth, and new directions for Georgie, Mandy, Jim, Reuben, and the rest of the expanded family. As long as the show leans into character development, balances humor with sincerity, and continues to expand beyond young Sheldon's shadow, it has every opportunity to become a long-running and beloved extension of the Big Bang Theory universe. Always come back for more exciting recaps on our channel Bullseye Movies.